Sometimes you have to know when something is over, when you have to move on from it. And so that's what I did this week. Not the videos. I'm still going to be doing these, so don't think you got off of anything. What I did this week was something that it took me a while to think about it, and then I finally did it. This is the first book I ever wrote, Embrace the Lead, Strategies for Management in the 21st Century. I wrote that book back in 2001, 2002. I finished it in February 2002 because I wanted to have it done so that my dad could read some of the book. He ended up passing away in June of 2002. And pretty much by, I would have to say, probably the middle of March, maybe closer to the end of March, he couldn't read anymore and he couldn't really comprehend anymore. But at the time, he was still able to read some of my book, and he got through about 20-25% of it, and I was happy for that because he was kind of the inspiration for me finishing the book. Anyway, what I did in 2004, I got my first really big gig, and I decided I was going to go and make print copies of my book. You didn't have online things. You didn't really have Amazon being Amazon like they are now, so they didn't do anything with books. So I needed some books, and we had a printer in town. It was called Quartier Printing. I don't know where they came up with that, but there you go. So it cost me $1,300 to buy a whole bunch of books, and I got 3 boxes of books. And I sold some books. The thing is that I've been basically going around with 2 giant boxes of books, totally sealed, and I knew, you know what, I have gone past the part where I'm going to be able to sell this as a paperback book, because it's a book on leadership. I really need to do some editing, and I think I'm going to. And I started to think that I'm going to edit it and then try to set it up, and, you know, I'm updating it. I'll put it on Amazon, see what happens. It's much easier that way. Back in 2004, this book actually helped me get a lot of speaking engagements because all people knew at the time was, wait, you wrote a book? There it is. Got a book. I have 10 ISBN numbers. Those are the little lines that you see on the back of a lot of books with the number. I've got 10 of those. I actually bought those in 2006, lost them, and then maybe 2 months ago I found out that you can contact the company online and they will have you registered the entire time. And since I had already paid outright for it, I got them. Because I don't know what I did. They used to send them to you, you know, in paper form. But luckily they're online, so I can do that. So I had to come to that decision, and I did. So I opened up both of those books, and I got myself recyclable bins, and I put those books in the recyclable bin. I couldn't leave them in the box because that's how our trash folks work around here. The recyclables, you can't have stuff in a box in the recyclable bin. You have to take it out, and then you have to break the boxes down. It's just like our garbage. They have to be in plastic bags, and they have to be tied up. You don't necessarily have to put them in a trash can, but it helps. So it's just those kinds of things. And like I said, I had to think about this, and I did some calculations on my own because, like I said, I sold some books. I gave some away for free, and overall I lost maybe $300 on buying the books. These days, if you're doing print on demand, you don't have to sell as many books before you probably make your money back, but I still sold a nice set of books, so I feel pretty good about that. Like I said, I got speaking engagements, and I got paid well for a few of those. So in essence, even though I lost $300 on making the book or printing the books off, I probably made about $3,000 overall because of the speaking engagements. And I thought, you know, that was a nice trade-off. It's great to be able to have something to give to people. And this is what I had. I haven't done a speaking engagement of this type in a long time. The last time I think I did a speaking engagement may have been back in 2018. I did 2 local speaking engagements, one for Syracuse University and one actually at Lemoyne University. So there you go. Both of them are here in Syracuse. I didn't have to travel far, and both of them were on the topic of leadership. So that's kind of cool. I want to get back into that role, but I'm telling you the story about the books because sometimes we have to make what we deem as a difficult decision. And this was last Thursday, and my friend's wife was here helping me to try to figure out more stuff to get rid of. And I showed her the boxes, and she said, "You feel like carrying those boxes around anymore?" And I said, "No," because I've been moving them all the different places in the house. And she said, "Would it bother you if you did it?" I said, "Yeah, I got to think about it." And then I took about 5 minutes, and I said, "You know what? You're right. They've got to go. I still have a couple here, and I still have 7 pristine books in a box in the closet. So I've got some, but I'm going to need to change the way that people can purchase it off of my business site. I haven't sold one of these books. My goodness. The last book I think I sold might have been 2007 or 2008. How many of you have kids who aren't even that old? I don't know. But, you know, sometimes you have to make a lot of difficult decisions. I've had to make a whole bunch of difficult decisions as I'm trying to clean this house out. It's loaded with all kinds of things. And I've had to come to some epiphanies. And some of those epiphanies are that everything is not as valuable as I thought it was. And I didn't buy it, by the way, so I had no idea how you price things. But my ex had this one thing on the wall that I thought, my God, that's got to be worth at least $150, $200. Well, it turns out no. Because when I decided it had to come off the wall, parts of it just broke off in my hand, and I said, whoa, okay, I thought that was something else. Sometimes you have to put your hands on something, you have to dig into things, and you make a determination it ain't worth what you thought it is. And it's more of a memory, you know, this was something that was beyond my area of expertise and trying to figure certain things like that out. But I needed to do that with my books that I wrote and I printed off. I have to do it with a whole bunch of other books. I have 9 boxes of books in the garage that I can't donate to the library because they stopped doing that at the pandemic. And I can probably take some of them over to the Salvation Army, but there's certain types of books they don't want. And I'm just not in the mood. So I may have to figure out how to get rid of those. Actually, I know what I'm going to do, but that's going to take a long time, but it's something to do. And I've got other stuff. I've been putting stuff out there so it can go. And then of all things, Monday I'm putting the stuff out and this guy drives up named Lenny talking about, yeah, I've been going through your bags to see if you have anything that's worth anything because he's a junk collector. And I guess he knows most of the people in the neighborhood because a lot of them are a lot older than me. So, you know, he asked if one day maybe he can come over and look at some stuff. And he says, well, I think anything is really worth anything. I know some people I could connect you with and maybe you can make some money off of it. You just never know, right? Anyway, this is the only reason I was talking about this. You know, it's hard to let go of something. It took me a while to write this book. I had a purpose in writing this book, but luckily I still have it in Word form, and so I can alter it. I can change it. It's not the best cover in the world. As a matter of fact, the reason it cost me $1,300 is because the cover of the words that you saw is a blue. Everything else is black. And because I wanted the blue, then that was an extra $250. I did that for my audience. So there you go. Anyhow, that's all I got. Do you have certain things in your life that maybe you sit back now and say, you know what, it's time to get rid of this? Or you have trouble doing that? Let me know. My name's Mitch Mitchell. I hope you all have a wonderful week.